Welcome back, dear viewers. You're still watching Nile TV International and our update of the latest news that we got from the Global Alliance of the National Bodies of Human Rights affiliated to the United Nations, which recommended to keep the National Council for Human Rights global ranking at A. The Alliance praised the Egyptian state's efforts to amend the Council's law and provide the independence in its work. It also praised the recent steps to boost human rights in Egypt, which the Council reviewed in its report before the Global Alliance. Egypt has taken a number of important procedures to boost human rights, including providing more guarantees to protect these rights. And with us now live over the phone is Dr. Mohamed Mokhtar, Professor of International Relations. Dr. Mokhtar, good evening. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Sir, your comment on the Global Alliance's recommendation to keep the National Council for Human Rights global ranking at A, pointing to advancements that occurred in the human rights file here in Egypt recently.
This is, of course, show well how Egypt is working and do several efforts dedicated internal and international, dedicated to this file. And Egypt tried to keep on working in several files in the whole field, as we mentioned, as especially for the human rights, and to keeping them grade A, a reference to the back of 2022 that related to that was in the B, and had been upgrading all the needs related to all people working in jail, who was in jail, was out of jail, and make several recommendations with all the efforts, with all the things to dedicate that field to be and a very good image related to Egyptian during that file.
Right. Dr. Mokhtar, how do you see the significance of the timing of this recommendation and the recommendation's effect on the inner political landscape in Egypt, which witnessed a Senate elections a short time ago and will witness a House of Representatives elections in a couple of days?
This has shown well how much Egypt is working hard, dedicated to all the type of political and to have a peace country. You should have very caring about human rights, reference to the UN requirements, reference to the law, and the all international law working act. That's why Egypt is doing a very specific effort related to that, and this is very clear to the coming elections that how much Egypt is very bureaucracy and even in the political, and how much Egypt is very stable and have working in the law and using the law, which is related to the international even law and the local law, with also the human rights requirements.
Yes,
has been in every country around the world.
Yes, Dr. Mokhtar, among the advancements that Egypt executed in the human rights file were to upgrade correctional and rehabilitation centers so as to meet international standards. Your comment on that specific element, upgrading correctional and rehabilitation centers to meet international standards.
This was a good example, which is Egypt mentioned to the whole world and to the Africa and out of Africa to had to several visitors had to go on to see that in these centers, how all the people in jail learning and training for several types of them needs of them experience, and them gaining so much in that. And maybe you found at least maybe more than 2 or 3 visiting related to that field. And Egypt was very clear to have as internationally human rights requirements being done and achievement. And this is very shown up related to also the media, and of course Nile TV has mentioned several types of that visit to the all who's watching us around the world.
And Dr. Mokhtar, also there were a number of humanitarian releases from jail recently and in the past period in general. how important was that again, in making the Global Alliance of the National Bodies of Human Rights keep or recommend to keep Egypt's rating and ranking at A?
Of course, Egypt is following all the international human rights requirements, and being also achievement that dedicated to the health matter related to all people who are in jail. And our President Fattah al-Sisi is always in several action related to the years to getting permission or approving for who was in jail to go back to the life, reference to the requirements and the Egyptian law, even dedicated also to a very important point, health. This guy's health. So I believe it's we are working and as on the standard and more become the standard we been achieved in Egypt related to the matter and the file of human rights.
All right, Dr. Mohamed Mokhtar, Professor of International Law. Thank you very much for your insight and your time, sir. And that was, dear viewers, our coverage of the Global Alliance of the National Bodies of Human Rights, is affiliated to the body, affiliated to the United Nations, and its recommendation to keep the National Council for Human Rights global ranking here in Egypt at A. Don't go away, dear viewers. Nile TV will continue its extensive coverage of local, regional and international news taking place, and in just over 15 minutes from now we'll be back with a panorama of news covering the latest in politics, business and sports. Thank you for watching, and don't go far.